So our next speaker is Van Lay, who is the board president of the Eastside Union High School District. And as a refugee who worked hard to overcome many barriers, Van Lay dedicates her life to serving her community, especially immigrants and refugee families. She actively serves as a board member of many organizations that support immigrants, homeless students, and women suffering from domestic abuse. In addition, she served as a board of trustees for Eastside Union High School District since 2010 and was selected as board president in 2015 and 2021. She works diligently with all stakeholders to support the district's vision of creating equitable school communities that welcome and support students as who they are. So thank you so much for being here tonight, and we really look forward to your talk, Van. The Little Saigon Project. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Erica, for help for the slides presentation. And thank you, Dr. D1, and your staff has done just amazing get together with all of those AAPI. And this my project is Little Saigon. I would like to share with you about a cultural place that's called Little Saigon, which is very dear to me as a former Vietnamese refugee. Little Saigon allows Vietnamese Americans to remember the capital of Vietnam, where we love and treasure, but we had to leave it behind. It's called Saigon, has been erased from history in Vietnam, except the airport, Tân Sơn Nhất. And San Jose and Westminster are two big cities in the United States that have the second largest Vietnamese population outside Vietnam. Saigon is the former name of the capital of former South Vietnam, where a large number of first-generation Vietnamese immigrants originated. I want to talk a little bit more about the oldest, largest, and most prominent Little Saigon is centered in Orange County, California, where over 189,000 Vietnamese Americans resided, which over 5 cities like Garden Grove, Westminster, Santa Ana, Fountain Valley, and Irvine. But Little Saigon is just neighborhood of San Jose, California, located east side, is a hub of Silicon Valley Vietnamese community and one of the largest Little Saigon is in the world. And San Jose is more Vietnamese resident than any city outside Vietnam. Technically, down south, if you talk about Orange County, they have a bigger Vietnamese population. But we're talking about city of San Jose has more Vietnamese American population than any other city in United States. And I want to touch by a little bit more of the South Republic of Vietnamese flag is very important to the immigrant, and they were recognized, acknowledged after 1975 for the overseas immigrant Vietnamese. And actually East Side Board also approved the resolution for the South of Vietnamese Republic of Vietnam is the yellow flag with 3 stripes. So we are on a Saigon. The slide 2 is I intend outcome today's presentation to understand the history of Little Saigon in San Jose, recognize why Little Saigon is important to the Vietnamese community, and understand why Vietnamese people left Vietnam and settled in US, and recognize the main concept to teach students this cultural place. Slide number 3, a history of Little Saigon. First, I would like to give you some history about Little Saigon. It's a neighborhood located on Story Road of East San Jose. It's located on 101 a freeway, start McLaughlin to Lucretia. But if you move a little bit further to look into Vietnamese Heritage Garden, located on Roberts Avenue, is about 0.7 miles from Little Saigon. The San Jose is home more than 180,000 Vietnamese residents, making up more than 10% of city of San Jose. And the epicenter of Vietnamese American community of San Jose, however, is on Story Road, home to popular, is called Grand Century Mall and Vietnam Town. In 2007, the Little Saigon district was officially created and recognized by City of San Jose. Initially, the city council refused to name and place as Little Saigon. There was protest and hunger strike, and San Jose City Hall by an activist. And a former council member proposed the name as Saigon Business District with, and was Vietnam Town, but was opposed to community by the community. So the Vietnamese community of San Jose has been politically divided over the name of business district, with various groups favoring Little Saigon, New Saigon, Vietnamese Business District, as well as San Jose Hispanic Chamber of Commerce have also opposed the name Little Saigon. In November 2007, San Jose City Council voted 8-3 to choose the compromise name Saigon Business District, resulting in ongoing protest, debate, and recall City Council Madison Nguyen. In March 4, 2008, after a public meeting in which more than 1,000 Little Saigon supporters participate, the City Council voted 11-1 to rescind the name Saigon Business District and stop short of renaming it. So March 4, 2008, after a public meeting which more than 1,000 Little Saigon protester, the name of Little Saigon was restored. Finally, city approved the name as Little Saigon. I was elected as vice president Little Saigon Foundation as one of the protesters during the Little Saigon debacle. So let's move to slide 4. Why Little Saigon is important to the Vietnamese community. You might wonder why Little Saigon is important. There are a few reasons. From 1955, the Vietnam War began. It was a conflict between the communist government of North Vietnam and South Vietnam. The US was the South of Vietnam ally against the backdrop of the Cold War. The North was supported by the Soviet Union and other communist allies, while South was backed by Western forces, including hundreds of thousands of US troops. It was a costly and lengthy war for the US, lasting almost 20 years and extremely divisive among Americans. America withdrew military from South Vietnam in 1973, and 2 years later, the country announced its surrender after the Northern force took Saigon. The phrase "the fall of Saigon" refers to the capture of Saigon, the South Vietnamese capital, of April 30th, 1975, by communist forces. Just like Kabul, the city capture came much quicker than US has expected. Slide number 5. Why Little Saigon is important to the Vietnamese community. Little Saigon is known as a Vietnamese hub where you can find restaurant, food, tropical fruit, cultural item to many stores like jewelry, cosmetic, clothing. It is also convenient for people to go to one place to eat, shop, and take care of health and dental services. It's a center where cultural ceremonies, festival, and outdoor entertainments are held, such as Vietnamese New Year, Tet Festival, cultural ceremony, fundraising, musical show for flood victims, etc. Little Saigon is a place where Vietnamese Americans feel home far away from home. And it's important for us to share with our younger generation who we are and where we come from. And it's a place where many businesses concentrate to serve Vietnamese Americans. And people can purchase Vietnamese food, snack, Vietnamese traditional dress, and shoes. Slide number 6, please. Why did people flee from Vietnam? The next question is, why did people flee from Vietnam after the war ended in 1975? Due to political oppression, poverty, and continued war, Vietnamese fled the country. The desire to leave was especially great for Vietnamese who had fought for the South, worked with the United States, or held position in the South Vietnamese government. The number of people left Vietnam by boats and arrived safely in another country, totally almost 800,000 between 1975 and 1995. Many of refugees died on the journey, faced danger from pirates, overcrowded boats, and storm, according to United Nations High Commission for Refugees. Between 200,000 and 400,000 boat people died at the sea. Slide number 7, please. Saigon before 1975. Why does Vietnamese community treasure the name Saigon? During international voyage via Saigon, traders from many countries were all impressed by this emergent city known as the most elegant and hectic in all of Indochina. Through word of mouth, Saigon was called the famous name, the Pearl of the Far East. It's the beloved city of millions of Vietnamese who live outside of Vietnam. They miss their homeland and they have decided to return to live in Saigon moments before the war ended. Slide number 8, please. The main concept to teach students from this cultural place, we want to teach our students. Little Saigon in Saigon reminds people about the Vietnam War, the fall of Saigon, and the reason why Vietnamese American exist in the United States. Students need to know where their grandparents and parents came from and appreciate what their family has done for them. Students need to know the history of their root and the cultural value that passed down to them from their parents and grandparents. And we need to speak up, voice our concerns and opinion to politicians so they can understand our culture and listen to their constituent and restore democracy. And Little Saigon is the icon of Vietnamese American to maintain the traditions and culture, as well help the older generation to share with the younger generation for the food and the culture. And Little Saigon is a symbolism of our roots, and the name Little Saigon reminds us where we came from. And my slide number 9 is the source that I based my presentation. And you have any question for me, please let me know. Thank you for listening to my presentation.